Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is the annual meeting of the St. Lawrence County Center for History and Culture, also known as the St. Lawrence County Historical Association. We're glad you could all be here this morning. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Bill Flynn. I'm the president of the board of directors for this organization. And I'm from Ogdensburg. I'm a retired school superintendent, having worked in Ogdensburg and for a while been in Messina. I bring to the board great interest in organization and leadership skills, as well as the opportunity to work with a great group of trustees and employees of a wonderful organization that seems to be one of the big secrets of St. Lawrence County. This is an agenda that is quite heavy this morning, so it starts out with some presidential remarks. And to that end, I want to thank the board of directors, our vice president, Cheryl Shankford O'Neill, sitting over there, our secretary, Lynn McCott, and our treasurer, Emily Hastings. Also, we have board members, Tim Kreiderman, Diana Fisher, who's here this morning, Carol Updike, and Sharon Tabrunier, who's here this morning as well. We're a small board, but we are pretty active, and we have lots of opportunities to serve through a committee structure here at the museum. So, trustees, thank you for all the time you spend on these various committees that oversee and manage and support the efforts of our very capable management and staff. Everything from buildings and grounds committee to a publishing quarterly and finance and fundraising and support for Carlene with everything that's known as the collection through the collections committee. You all serve personnel committee that Cheryl chairs. There are just so many committees that I'm afraid sometimes we get committees to death. So thank you for surviving the committee structure. We work hard to develop opportunities to step up when it comes to financial oversight. The trustees do a great job of that, as well as financial support for the museum. No one knows how many times trustees have stepped up to cover the cost of something here. And I encourage you to do more of the same. Every little bit helps. So I'm not asking for much. Just continue to share your valuable time with us and your resources, and going forward, hopefully for many years to come. Moving in to our valuable and excellent employees who give their expertise and high standards, their backgrounds, and their organization to make us all look so good to our members and to our board and to our communities. I want to give them a huge thank you. We can't do anything without you guys. It is a pleasure to work with you. Thanks to Carlene Berman, our executive director, and Megan Royce, our engagement and advancement coordinator, and Caitlin Leah, our administrative assistant and museum attendant and finance person. Sarah Lynch, who takes care of the buildings and grounds. Everything looks wonderful here. And our custodian, Becky Buckley. We are impressed by people who haven't seen the museum in a while and have complimented us on the new look in the gallery and in the gift shop area. They are seeing more opportunities for members, including programs that not only here, but off-site programs. Thanks to our young management team, more physical programs I've noticed lately, things like hiking, paddling and that sort of thing. Thank you for all of that. That expands our ability to be open to a more diverse population, a younger population, and really begins to serve all of northern New York in that way. I want to take a minute to thank the volunteers who give so many hours to us and ensure that things run smoothly and archival work gets completed and meeting mailings go out on schedule and so many more things than that. Thank you for all you do. It's really that ongoing support, which is so remarkable and so absolutely needed here. And also thanks to our college interns who've had the opportunity to learn in a hands-on, active museum learning environment. Your learnings advance our cause, and you learn yourself, which because of the opportunity you have here at the museum, and sharing is invaluable. Thank you for spending time with us and getting so much accomplished. I'm particularly pleased with the progress that's being made for guests who visit the historic house. There are so many more things to look at and read and find out about. And all of that has been the work of our interns under the leadership of Arlene. Let me take a moment to state the board of directors' areas of focus in this past year. Pursuing grants is huge for us, and Cheryl helps us a great deal with that. Her experience is invaluable in pursuing grants that support programs and opportunities for members and capital support for the various building projects and buildings and grounds and needs, such as the window replacement project in the Silas Wright Historical House, as well as pursuing grants from the New York State Council on the Arts and grants of local support from the Chamber of Commerce and from the St. Lawrence County Board of Legislators. Thanks to Carlene and Cheryl, who did the lion's share of that work here. Again, we could not really stay afloat without those efforts. We're now focusing on fundraising efforts for siding replacement. It's well demonstrated as you pull in the parking lot. You can see we're in the throes of that project. That will be an expensive project for us, and it will be an ongoing effort to support that project as we move to completion. We're also looking at a project to replace the roof on the side of the Wright House. That will be an expensive project as well. The board has provided additional support to the historic garden project this year and the Memorial Brick Walkway program, which is both ongoing projects. We're pleased that leadership here at the museum has promoted those projects, created those projects, and we're proud to support those projects as board members. The board also has a subcommittee working on strategic planning. And this is essentially for board organization at large and is chaired by Sharon Tavernier. That's a huge task and one that's been kicked down the road several times. And so it's beautiful that Sharon has stepped up and is determined this project will come to closure at some point. Hopefully very soon, because strategic planning is so critical for us to really move forward and accomplish everything we hope we can. The board also has had the opportunity to work with the mission, the vision, and the direction of the museum over time. But this strategic planning will envelop all of that and include in a very cohesive and readable document that hopefully we can make a living document, something that we revisit, go back, make changes, and accomplish goals established by the strategic plan as we move forward. So in closing, I want to speak for the full board. I know I can when I say that we're proud to be of service to this fine organization. We are one of the primary maintainers. I want to make sure that we don't step on any toes here. One of the primary maintainers of the collective history of St. Louis County. And we have the largest holding of documents and artifacts, and certainly the largest staff dedicated to preserving and maintaining and sharing the collection of the citizens of New England, and in particular, our membership. So, in closing, it's an honor to serve as your trustees. Thank you. That's it. I'm going to turn it over to Lynn Matana, our secretary, for a motion to approve the minutes of the 2024 annual meeting.
Hi, thanks for coming out on such a cold day. At least it's not as bad as yesterday. Everybody should have received a copy of the minutes in the packet that was mailed out. Fortunately, I was concerned about getting here at 10 o'clock so I could get everybody's signatures that signed in. And I forgot whatever else I was supposed to bring in. But I need a motion to approve the minutes of the annual meeting from last year. Everybody make a motion. Okay, thank you. And 10 seconds, okay.
I'd like to request that Carlene send the minutes to us by email, because I never received.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of accepting the minutes from the annual meeting last year?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The minutes have been accepted. You'll see me writing a whole lot, but when I get to the minutes, it gets pretty condensed.
Yeah, they were actually sent after the meeting last year, like in December, or January, I think, but I will resend them to everyone. That's where I found them, from last year.
And turning it over to Carlene.
All right, we get to find stuff. Sorry. Okay, hello everybody. Hi, second bills, thank you for coming out on this cold rainy day. It officially feels like winter is upon us. I was driving home at about 7:30 last night during that ice sleet, whatever that was. Unfortunately, there was a car that had gone off the road in a ditch like right in front of me, so I drove very slow home. So we're gonna hope there's not more of that coming. Since Bill has already acknowledged this staff and board, I won't read everyone's name again, but I wanted to give my heartfelt thank you to the board, to all of the trustees for their support throughout the year, some of them for many years for this organization. They really do support a lot of the work that we do here, and without them, we would not be able to have the independence that we do as a staff, to be able to take some of the new leaps we've been taking and try some of the new things we've been doing with this organization. So we are very grateful that we have the leadership we currently have. And I also just would be remiss without shouting out to my staff. We really are like a family here. We work very closely together every day. I would not be able to do so much of what I do without them. So of course, Megan Royce, who's hiding in the back there, but also always sure to get documentation of everything we do so we can create things like slideshows now, because we have a lot more photos than we used to. But Megan is really invaluable to this organization with all of the work she's been doing, from cleaning up our database. We are transitioning, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, making sure all of our member records are up to date, all of our donor information. And of course, publicity, marketing, each one of those things is a full-time job in and of itself. And as Megan can attest, all of us wear many, many hats every day, but as my other full-time staff member, she and I really work closely on a daily basis to try to accomplish a lot of the work that we're doing. So I'm very grateful to have her support every day. And of course, Caitlin, who I really don't know what I did before you started. Because Caitlin has proven herself to be a financial wizard in addition to, taking over management of the gift shop, bringing in a lot of the products that you'll see. So please take a spin through the gift shop if you haven't been here in a while. We featured a few new things, in the slideshow, but we are really committed to featuring, items from local producers, in addition to some new branded products with our new logo. So Caitlin's been in charge of that, in addition to any number of tasks on a daily basis, from printing flyers to opening the museum every day, helping me figure out transitions on PowerPoint. So every day, many small tasks that, I really would not be able to do without them. And I also have no idea how this organization lasted for over 70 years without a paid building administrator. We had always relied on volunteers, and as many of you know, the volunteer base was once much stronger, as all small organizations are facing just the crunch, especially post-COVID, decline in volunteers, and after many years of deferred maintenance, there's just so much work that needed to be done that Sarah has really transformed the inside and outside of our building. So we are very grateful to have her on board. And of course, Becky, who wanted to be here today, she is our custodian. She is only with us 3 hours a week, but Becky is a great lover of history and museums as well. So she's more than our custodian. She's not someone to just come in and clean. She stays after and helps us scan. She goes through and organizes things in the children's attic. She and her partner have made, the little hooks you see that the clothes are hanging on up there. They made those for us. They do woodworking. So, Becky is also a museum person at heart who wears many hats and takes on many things. So I really think we have a good team at the moment. I'm grateful for all of them. Now I get to do my really fun report. So it has been another very busy year for us here at the Historical Association. We have gone through an entire year with our new name and new brand. We have gotten overwhelmingly positive feedback on the new name and brand. Things people have mentioned are the colors and commented on how much more accessible the name makes the organization seem, especially to younger people, which I think is attested in the younger crowd we have here today. As well as the general interest, and I think we've really been professionalizing our graphic and marketing materials, which is largely thanks to Megan and of course our interns who are helping us with all of that as well. We have also made good progress on our historic garden project. This was officially started in 2024, and we have either completed or are in the midst of several significant maintenance projects on the historic Silas Wright House and the Red Barn addition. The siding, as you noticed when you walked in, is in the midst of being repaired at the moment. Some other exciting new projects and initiatives for 2025. We have a new virtual tour of the Silas Wright House that will be available on our website soon and will be sent out in our newsletter. That was done by our summer intern from SUNY Canton, Patrick Nicholson, who you saw on one of the early slides. We also have an introduction video to the museum that is set up for visitors coming in the front door of the house. So there's a big TV with a video playing in the Wright Family Gallery for visitors that come in the front door to get an orientation. Because one of the things we had found and one of the rationales for doing our front walkway was the disconnect of people on Main Street not necessarily knowing we were a building open to the public, a museum with regular hours. So having that walkway, allowing people to come in the front door, and now this video, which gives them an orientation to who we are without having to walk all the way through the building and find staff to do so. We have already had a few visitors comment on what they learned just from watching the 3.5-minute video, which was created by another of our summer interns. Oh, that was perfect timing, but Brayden on the slide was the one that created that for us. So please take a look. If you haven't been in a while, walk through and see everything that's new. Other major accomplishments of the year include bringing QuickBooks and finances back in-house. That has really helped us to keep better track of what we're doing, make better decisions about where we want to go, provide things like this packet that you have today, because it's a lot easier for us to run reports and to compile information, being able to just pull that up on our computers. We have hired a new bookkeeper, Tracy Moody, who couldn't be with us today. She helps to provide oversight to that work that Caitlin has been doing, a lot of data entry, deposits, bill paying, all of that is now done in-house. Tracy is providing oversight for. We've also been working on the website, and there's a lot more work coming, so if you haven't checked out our website in a while, please do so. Some of the things that have happened for the building and grounds this year include removal of a maple tree that you may remember was on the left side of the yard, or the right side from here, but left side from the street, that was rotting and was in danger of falling on the house. That was removed, the stump was ground up. We've been catching up on a lot of different maintenance around the foundation of the house, as Sarah has been clearing away things like black walnut trees, roots, things that had grown into the foundation. We're finding holes and other damage that needs to be repaired. So that has been worked on this summer. And very recently, we did leveling of our front lawn and the establishment of 3 new small gardens with serviceberry trees that will be blooming in the spring, and we will be continuing to plant in those gardens. We have also done a lot more plantings this year, including the pollinator garden that you may have noticed on the entrance coming in. So we're very excited about the progress and hope to continue to expand that project next year. We also finished the historic window restoration that was made possible through a grant by Arch that was completed at the very beginning of the year. And of course, currently the siding and some repairs to the historic cedar shake roof are currently underway. We are also having a tag assessment done, which was thanks to we talk more about grants later, but thanks to a grant from New York State Historic Preservation, we were able to get that project started to really identify all of the needs in our historic building. So we will have that assessment soon. Other accomplishments of the year include the expanding of what I'm calling our adventure tour programs, which were new in 2024. We added some new locations this year, including Wanakina and Claire. We did not get to a paddling program, as I had hoped, but hopefully we will get to do that again in 2026. I alluded to a new member and donor database. We are currently using a database called PastPerfect, which was developed in the 1990s as a collections management database. And we have been using it as both our collections management database and our membership donor database, which it was not really designed for, and it is quite old. It does not run off of Windows 11 now, so it was necessary to upgrade. So we have transitioned to a database called DonorPerfect that will allow us to do a lot more than we can do in our current database. It is also online. It will allow us to keep track of donations, donors, memberships, much easier to run a lot of reports, and also to pull information much faster to compile it, and people can set up things like auto pay for their membership. We can do memberships and installments, all kinds of things we were not able to do in the past. So Megan can attest to the amount of work that has been to transition, and that is still underway, but we are hoping to have all of that done before the end of the year and everyone's year-end letters out for all of their donations. We have also increased community partnerships this year, especially with the colleges. That is something I'm especially proud of, being able to have all of the interns we had this year that you saw. So we have worked with, throughout the whole year, we've had 11 interns so far, which I think is more than we've ever had. We're really establishing and strengthening relationships with all of the local colleges, and we even have 2 BOCES students from the Ogdensburg BOCES graphic design class work with us this year. We have also, as you will see later, oh, sorry, I have to bring up my other slideshow. Do you think you could, it's on the computer, we just need to minimize that. I have some statistics to share with you momentarily. We made a separate slideshow. as you will see in a moment, we have greatly increased our attendance for outreach at the different programs we do in the community. Yes, that's the plan. I might ask you to change some slides in a moment. Okay. You can just leave it right there now. Okay, look at us, 2 PowerPoint. We have a semi-working technology system. That's an improvement as well. Although that actually came in 2023. Okay. Collections projects we're working on. So we have been updating finding aids to hopefully make those available online. And a finding aid is a tool that is used in museums and archives and libraries, which essentially tells you what is in a collection, all of the different collections, the things we own. Groups of items are called collections. This finding aid allows us to say what is in that collection and how is that valuable to the public for research purposes. So we will hopefully have those. We have a volunteer who couldn't be here today, Courtney LaPointe, but she's actually working remotely on updating a lot of those for us to make those available. And then back here has been digitizing photos, and I'm very happy to say she has now completed all of our town photos, which is how many again? About 4,500. 4,500 photos digitized, which are all of the towns in St. Lawrence County, and now she has started on our photographs of people. So far those, yes, we've gotten 1 shelving unit in a big wall done. So we're very excited of part of the shelving unit in the wall. But it's still a major accomplishment. We are learning how many photos we actually have. And so far, they're just stored internally on a hard drive, but it has been much easier to access them when I need photos for some of the tours, the walking tours that we do, for school groups, and for research requests. It's been a lot easier to access them, and hopefully some of those will be available online soon as well. Okay, we've also been processing what we call FIC, or founded collections items, things that are just sitting on a shelf, maybe with a little note, but that never actually got processed as something the museum owned. We have been doing a lot of work, largely thanks to Mary, who helps with a lot of that work, to catalog and actually keep track of those things better. And we have also been rehousing, so taking things out of acidic boxes, putting them into non-acidic boxes where they can live for a long time and not have any damage from humidity, from light, to be in a safe location. So we've continued to work on that. That will be a very long-term project. And along that same note, we are also improving our temperature and humidity monitoring and regulation in the building. We have new sheets. We try to update them. We try to keep track and are better about the use of humidifiers and dehumidifiers, depending on the season, to better regulate and make sure that everything is staying to the right conditions that are best for the objects we care for. We're also getting much better at statistics, and you will see from all of our pie charts and graphs we made today. We're trying to keep track of things, and this has been essential in the grants that we applied for. They need that kind of data. So we actually have that data to provide now. We're trying to keep track of anything and everything that we can, because it's very hard to know where you want to go as an organization if you don't know where you've been and the success of the things that you do. And before I get into the fun statistics, I just wanted to give a shout out to the funders that we've gotten this year that have made some of these projects possible. So again, the Adirondack Architectural Heritage, which helped with the historic window replacement. NYSCA, which is the New York State Council of the Arts. We have now for 2 years gotten a award from them of $30,000 and $25,000 respectively, which is helping to supplement staff salaries. We've gotten some money from the town of Canton through the Canton Main Street funds, and in 2024, that actually helped to replace a furnace in our basement that needed replacement. And also the Northern New York Library Network, which you maybe saw a picture of Caitlin Legacy Ralston there, already starting the work of assessing the Betty Steele collection of over 80,000 negatives. Betty Steele was an important photographer in the Hewlton and Ogdensburg area, and we received a collection in 2020 from her of 80,000 negatives. It's about 80 boxes, big boxes, and they need to be rehoused. They are not stored well. Some have mold, some have, they were in a basement in someone's house, which is very common for a long time. It came to us through some family members. And this grant from the Northern New York Library Network, has helped us to begin the process of assessing those. Doing an analysis, basically a plan for processing. And, we also hopefully have another, grant in the works from the state, which will pair with that well to actually buy all the materials to rehouse and to jump back into that project. And finally, the New York State Preservation League, which gave that TAG grant for the building assessment that is currently underway. Okay, now you can go to the next slide. Okay. We made a graph for you. 2024 versus 2025 to date. I think we're actually doing pretty well with museum visitation. Actually, it was 280 people as of yesterday, so we made these charts a little bit in advance. And that does not include our holiday open house the first week of December, where last year we had about 80 people. And of course, the whole month of November and December. So we're hopeful that our walk-in visitation to the museum will be higher in 2025. We're down a little bit for our in-person researchers. So these are people that either make appointments or drop in to use our research library for either self-guided or guided research. But I will say that our research requests that come in via email, phone, or occasionally people in person who then they can't stay that day, they have to, we have to do something to follow up on their request, has almost doubled from last year. So we have 166 currently, with more that are in process, and our meeting is about a week earlier this year than last year, so keep that in mind as well. And we also offered several more public programs. We offered 15 talks, workshops, drop-in craft days and tours in 2024, and we've offered 18 so far in 2025. And for those programs, we have had nearly 3,500 people. So as you can see, our outreach, oh, you can go to the next. Yay. This is actually museum visitation by month. We keep track of that now. We'll go back to the last one for a minute. And then again, comparing where our visitors come from, which is interesting. We don't have a huge international audience, but it is, you know, you can often learn a lot of things by keeping data and comparing it. Now you can go to the next slide. Okay, so here's our program attendance. Look at outreach. We have had almost 3 times as many people, and that is due partially to an increase in the number of events we attend. We added a few new festivals around the county where we go and table. We essentially set up a table. We provide information about who we are and what we do. We often have an educational component, either something hands-on or a craft or an activity, or sometimes both, that people can either do at the table or take home with them. We also often have merchandise from our gift shop, which has also led to an increase in our gift shop sales. And then this is just a breakdown of the types of programs that we're doing and how those numbers compare. So we're down on a few things. The most notably, brown bag attendance has really gone down. And I don't know if that's due to, you know, just the nature of coming in person for those kinds of talks. There's not as much interest as there once was. Though interestingly, we have been offering the majority of those in a hybrid format, so people can join on Zoom, like for this meeting. And the Zoom attendance has increased greatly, whereas in-person attendance is way down. So that has been an interesting trend to see. I think it fits in with larger trends in the museum and nonprofit world. And of course, COVID had a big impact on that because people got used to staying at home in front of their computers and got more familiar with that kind of software to join meetings. So I think that is a trend we will see continue, and that has led me to plan for 2026 to try some online only programming. We did one of our brown bags online only this year, which was a speaker from Montreal, whose book I showcased on one of the slides. Seaway Queens is available for sale on our gift shop. He did sign them in advance and mail them to us. But due to everything happening at the border, he wasn't really comfortable crossing, so he joined online, and we actually had pretty good attendance for that program. So we'll probably try to transition a few more of those types of talks to online, and I think we can actually offer more because it's easier to do programs that way, assuming the technology works, and it also will allow us to reach a wider audience. We once had someone joining us from Sweden for one of our brown bags. That was pretty exciting. Okay, I'm almost done, I promise. So, last thing is just, is there one more? Is there another slide? Yay, okay, here's a comparison of admission and program fees for this year. Versus last year. So again, I think we're on track to exceed, admission by the end of the year versus, from 2024. Well, we've really exceeded museum admission from 2024. Program fees are down. We do still have potentially one or two more programs happening this year. But again, research fees are really up, and I think that's due to just the increase. Even people via phone and email will often send us a check or pay for, their research for their credit card. Is there another slide? No, that's Megan's slide. She'll talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, the last thing I just wanted to say is, just a note about our school groups and other public groups who visited or held activities in the museum. We had about 190 participants for that. That is down about 100 from 2024. So that is a statistic that concerns me a bit, and I want to do a little more digging into why that might be the case. But one thing we've definitely noticed with the schools is that, busing has been an issue for a while, but a lot of schools just really have trouble getting to us, and they don't have a lot of free time to take field trips. So we had explored last year going into schools, and we had a volunteer, Dallas Robinson, who did a program in a school for us. We wanted to do that this year, but unfortunately due to illness, that program did not take place. So we're going to explore that again in 2026. And yes, also having the colleges, the relationships that we're growing with those have led to more college groups visiting. And we do have one more, we have a homeschool group coming next week and possibly another public group before the end of the year. So those numbers will go up a little bit. But any questions before I pass it on to Cheryl for the election of trustees?
Okay, we have 4 trustees running for reelection, for the 2026-2028 term. Emily Hastings, Diana Fisher, Carol Updike, and Lynn Matot. And before I ask for approval for these, trustees, do we have any nominations from the board? Come on, folks, anybody want to join the board today?
How much fun
Give you a discount. No? Okay, all right, so I'd like, a motion to approve the, 4 trustees.
I'll make it.
Stan, I'm sorry, okay, Tim. Made a motion, second by Stan, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, folks.
Emily.
Yes, I would love to make women's mention. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay, pie chart.
To recognize our one of those.
Okay, so first, just kind of wanted to talk about our membership a little bit for 2025. We pulled the numbers together as of the end of October, and there is a significant kind of flip from last year. One of the things I did want to note is a few of our new membership levels. One of them is our lifetime members, which is a $500 membership fee, one-time fee, and that qualifies them as a one-time recognition in our Russian Society, which Emily will discuss in a little bit. We did have roughly about 3% of our membership is lifetime at this point. We keep getting more and more in every week. So I think that will be a bigger chunk in 2026, I think, especially for the end of the year. Currently, our senior membership is our largest membership, followed by, I believe, individual and family is another one of our largest. That's actually increased from last year. We have a lot of families that have gone to our programs and to our outreach, and they have discovered our children's attic upstairs, which they take full advantage of. We have some regular visitors, that always come in on weekends or in the evenings, before we close and come in for a couple of hours to play there. Then our individuals. Another one that is new this year is the publication only. Those are for our libraries. They receive just the quarterly, no other benefits. And that's because that is what their purpose is to add the quarterly to their archives collection. So we did a special membership for our library, membership. And then the sustaining membership and the patron membership, those are some higher tiers that give us a little bit more of a donation, to our program to help fund us a little bit more. Business and organization, that is more so for the local businesses or other historical associations, the colleges. We especially get a lot of college memberships. They come in and do our tours, they do our research facilities, and because of their usage, they will get an organizational membership or bring multiple classes per year. Our student membership is also up. We have more students this year. Those are our under 17 or under 18 membership holders that are still in high school, as well as our college students. Those are the student membership, and that is up from last year as well. And we're still getting more of those in. This is as of the end of the month. I just kind of wanted to give an overview and just thank everybody for their contributions or for becoming members of this organization. It is incredibly important. It is how we get a lot of our funding. In order to do the things that Carlene talked about, a lot of that is able to be supported through our membership dues. A good chunk of that, is able to support that. So wanted to thank everybody, just kind of give everybody an idea of where we are at with our membership before we get into the recognition of some of our members. A few of our members levels do get recognition as a result of their lovely contributions this year, as well as our donors, which we will discuss more.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, we should. I can't add to the wonderful things that have been already said, by Phil and Carly and Megan about how much we rely on memberships and donations. And we are extraordinarily grateful. We would not be here without them. So we have a couple different groups that we just like to recognize. So I would just like you to join me in recognizing each of these groups as they appear.
And there's more.
And these are our Russian Society members. That's a donation of 500 or more. Again, we're extraordinarily grateful for these people who are able to give a little bit of an extraordinary amount to us. We had a successful summer appeal this summer. Been a new initiative for us, right?
Yes, this was new. We had done an appeal in a while. The last I believe was the capital campaign, I believe was the last big one that we did.
Yeah.
And this summer appeal was in order to fund our capital building projects, like the siding project and the roofing project that's already been mentioned, as well as support our historic garden. And then we also offered the opportunity to support our archives and collections, given all the work that we have going on there as well. And we had a lot of support for those this summer.
Yeah, really great response to this. So again, thank you to those who've given to this appeal.
A big check photos that I'm very proud of.
And I wanted to just highlight our top 5 donors. We have top 5. So we have 2 organizations that gave us a very generous amount. We have North Country Savings Bank, our neighbor, and the Northern New York Community Foundation, and 3 individuals, which I think is just so special that people are able to get these large gifts. Lauren French and family, thank you. Our own Lynn Matat, thank you. And the one and only Pat Dominy, thank you all.
And then up on the screen are our donors this year for 2025 to our historic garden project. This is an ongoing project. We still have our levels from last year. These are the individuals who donated to us this year to support our work that Sarah's been doing, planting things. They purchased mulch, they purchased soil, compost, trees, bushes, all the things. And we wouldn't be able to continue this work without the support every year to this project. So thank you. Round of applause for everybody.
I think that's the last.
I think that's the last one. Thank you.
Megan, are you gonna talk about the brick engraving?
I think that's the leader. Is that, am I next? I am next. Okay.
Yay,
Yay. Okay, so we have bricks.
sorry, if the slideshow didn't freeze for a second there,
I
we
would've
were not-
noticed.
it said we were done, we were not done.
So yes, I would like to talk about, which is perfect segue from our garden donors. We had the Memorial Walkway project start this year. In 2024, as part of our historic garden project, we installed the new bird pathway that you see on this screen. It leads to the front entrance of the Silas Wright House. And when we established this, we started thinking, what would be a way that we could kind of give back to the community in a way that memorializes our members, our community. And we decided to establish the Silas Wright Memorial Walkway. And with that, where is that going to be? Well, we have this beautiful walkway leading to the front of the house. Why not put it there? So we are lining the edges with brick engravings for the Silas Wright Memorial Walkway. And as members of the Historical Association, you know, we understand the importance of honoring those in our community, our family, our friends. And that's why we've been working to establish this space and focusing on this project to really give back to our community and honor those that have made an impact, not only as us as individuals, but to the community in St. Lawrence County itself. When planning this project, we wanted to keep things as local as possible. So in terms of the plantings, the garden, everything is bought from local vendors as much as possible. We also wanted the engravings to be as local if we could. And so that's where Witherby and Wayland has come into the picture. We approached them about collaborating with us on this project and they were absolutely thrilled to be a part of it. On the screen, you'll see Larry, he's the one laying on the ground as well as in the mask, those hazmat suit, he is actually sandblasting the brick engravings in that picture. And then Matt, he has been training with Larry to do brick engravings, he has been assisting. So we just want to thank Witherby and Wayland first and foremost for getting on board with this project. We really can't thank them enough for being a part of this. And with their guidance and expertise, we were able to create the Silas Wright Memorial Brick Engraving Fundraiser as of the fall of 2024. And our first engravings were installed in 2025. In August, we completed the 16 engravings that you see on the screen. This was our first batch of 2025. And many of these engravings honored loved ones, while others, such as the brick purchased by John Ball, all who saved this house. They honor people who have worked to preserve the Silas Wright House and this property. We really appreciate those types of brick engravings as well because it honors so many people that we could never begin to name. And then on the next slide, you'll see our next 15 engravings that were done in September. Like the first batch, many of these engravings were in memory of loved ones. However, we as the Historical Association also purchased a few bricks. 2 of them commemorate Silas Wright Jr. and Clarissa. We wanted to make sure that they were memorialized in this brick walkway because without them, we wouldn't be here. This is their home. This is why we exist. So we wanted to make sure that they were represented in this memorial walkway. It didn't seem right without them. And then we also recognized 2 long-term board members, volunteers. They've been here for so many years. Their knowledge has been absolutely vital to our organization. Pat and Stan. So we've mentioned many times their names. They're just an inherent part of who we are. So we wanted to recognize their contributions in this walkway as well. To date, we have, that is the end of the slideshow. To date, we have engraved approximately 30% of the available space on the walkway though. So we are anticipating that this project will end either in 2026 or early 2027, just given the number of brick engravings that we did this year, we did 36. And we already have a handful that have been purchased this year. That's going into the first batch of 2026. So if you're interested in purchasing a brick engraving and being a part of this project, please let us know as soon as possible. That way we can make sure that you have space available, especially if you're looking at more than one, because spaces are filling up quite quickly. And in closing, I would just like to thank everyone again, for being part of this project. I'd like to thank Witherby and Wayland for their work engraving this, their working with us, the collaboration, the expertise, the guidance. Without that, we wouldn't have known where to begin on this project. brick engraving sounds super easy. It is actually not. There's a lot of work involved, a lot of expertise, and we thank them for guiding us through this. I would also like to thank the staff and board and volunteers here at the Historical Association for collaborating with me on this project. A lot of people have helped in many ways make this project a success this past year and will continue to do so next year. So I just want to make sure that they are recognized as well. And also for everybody in the community that has purchased a brick engraving, we appreciate your support in this project, and we hope that we can provide the engravings and provide this space for everybody to be able to reflect and have a space to have memories of their loved ones for the future. And now I will give Bill back the podium for the business part of our meeting. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. Oh,
Thank you. Thank you, Erin. Is there any other old or new business?
Bill, do we
Ma'am.
need to approve the financial report?
Yeah, yes.
I mean, I don't think we
No,
want to take the
exactly.
time to go through it, but I'm just wondering if that's something that we need to approve.
Yeah, well, yes. It would be, at least, I don't know if you want to approve it. Because there's nothing to disapprove. So but I think you can make a motion to accept it.
Oh, you're supposed to receive it.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the financial report.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Diane. All in favor of accepting the financial report that we didn't discuss, but is that your take there?
I.
Yes, and it's, I'm sure, a good financial report. We do very well.
And just a quick note for maybe the first time, we're going to have a full annual report that we are compiling that will probably be shared in January. We have to wait for 2025 to finish, and then we will compile all of the statistics and share a full report. So this was a little teaser sort of to date of some of the things that will be in that complete report.
Thank you. Any other old new business? If not, then we can move right on to volunteer recognition.
Okay. Apologies to the people watching this in the future. I just started sharing the screen, so you will now get to see the slideshow. Okay. So this is always my favorite part of the annual meeting. I could not say enough great things about our volunteers, and I wish we could recognize them every day. But I really enjoy getting to talk a little bit more about them during our annual meeting. So this year we had around 20 regular volunteers, and by regular volunteers, I mean people that came either for weekly shifts or perhaps monthly. Basically, they came more than once throughout the year to help us with either special projects or more often regular things. And I'll talk a little bit more about the many things our volunteers do in a moment. You've already heard about a lot of them today, but we also have dozens of volunteers who help us with special one-time projects, things like leaf raking, flower planting, painting. We've been working with we have new partners this year who've been helping with some of these things. People who come in for work parties for the historic garden project, or for one-time administrative tasks like bulk mailings. Anyone who's ever worked in an organization knows that those mailings can be very time-consuming and a bit tedious, but with the help of the volunteers, we get through them much more quickly and seamlessly. So the volunteers I will be recognizing today are current volunteers with us in that regular volunteer category. But I would be remiss without recognizing also those special one-time volunteers who do so much for us, and of course, the board members who are themselves volunteers. And I usually keep them out of the general volunteer recognition because we like to recognize them all the time for the things that they do on a yearly basis, yearly, monthly, weekly basis for us. Okay, so we also have a whole other category of volunteers, which include people like John Austin and Ann Chetty, who lead programs for us. Most of the speakers that we have, most of the history hikes that we do,
most of these public programs, if I don't facilitate them, they're facilitated by someone who is 9 times out of 10 a volunteer. Because we don't currently really have a budget to pay people to do these kinds of programs. So we are very grateful, like Nick Hamilton Honey and Juan Fabregas, who were 2 of our brown bag presenters this year. And of course, Alondra and her friend who came in to help us handing out candy to about 150 kids last weekend during Phantoms in the Park. So we are very grateful for all of those categories of volunteers. We also have very special people that I need to mention, like John Austin, who never officially signed up to be a volunteer. I don't have a volunteer form on file for him, but he stops in to see us at least once a week. And as Mary can attest, we are frequently sending him research questions, have a list saved up whenever he stops in, to ask him, because he just seems to know just about everything. And Pat Dominy also falls into that category, officially stepped back as a volunteer in 2025, but we frequently still email her to ask her questions because no one has the kind of expertise that Pat has about local history. So I certainly wanted to recognize them as well. Even though Pat's a former volunteer who doesn't come into the office, she is the first to like our social media posts, often reposting them herself. And commenting, which we greatly appreciate as well, keeping us on our toes. We also have some new partnerships this year. So I alluded to new relationships with the colleges. One in particular I wanted to mention was the Weiser Center through SUNY Potsdam. So those students have volunteered with Sarah several times for the historic garden and have come to help. There's a picture of them ripping up landscaping cloth. They have helped with various projects that involved a little bit of heavy lifting and hard labor that isn't the kind of thing we might just give, anyone to do, but these students are hard workers and they really enjoy this kind of work. So we hope to continue to foster that relationship. We also have a new relationship with SUNY Canton with the equal opportunity students who also came to volunteer with us this summer, and groups like St. Lawrence University's Make a Difference Day. Those students came last weekend and raked up all of the leaves that you see. Even though more have fallen, they did a lot of leaf raking for us. So those kinds of projects that we just will never get to as staff with all of the things on our plate. So now I'm going to recognize individually the regular volunteers in that category that I mentioned who are with us today. This is a statistic that's always very difficult to keep. I have a binder where I ask volunteers to log their hours, but as they know, just what you do in the office every day is not necessarily the end of your volunteer shift. And it's as close as I could get to an accurate count of the things that they do during the year, but we know that it is actually much more than that. So just our regular volunteers, those class of people that come in with us regularly throughout the year, put in approximately 1,023 hours this year. That is down significantly from previous years, but I will mention that we have lost a number of longtime volunteers this year. Not lost, but are no longer volunteering with us. The good news is that we have also had an increase in interns, a significant increase in interns and those new partnerships I mentioned with the colleges, which will hopefully lead to more volunteers in the future. And just an abbreviated list of some of the things that volunteers and interns do for us every day. They come from nearly every part of the county, work all different hours, including our night shift, like Alexis, who comes after her full-time job to help us out. Sometimes sitting in the dark upstairs in the research room, meticulously cataloging items in our collection that have not been cataloged, making sure all the information is up to date and past perfect, rehousing, assembling, doing any number of things. So volunteers process incoming collections donations. They sort, photograph, catalog, research, house, and label items in the collection. They help visitors with research, both in person and online and over the phone. They respond to research inquiries. They clean and organize museum spaces. They greet visitors and help answer phones if staff is out sick or it's just a really crazy day, we need additional help. As I mentioned, the bulk mailings, the bane of most organizations' existence. We could not process those without volunteers. They help us to manage our quarterly publication and to mail that as well. They help to set up and take down special events. They help us prepare for programs, which could be children's activities, whether that's setting up the actual tables at the farmers markets or the other festivals we do, staffing those tables, helping to prepare the kits of activities that we bring with us, help to pull all of the materials that we need. They help in the gift shop and the office. They help with exhibits. Most of the exhibits in this room were put up by volunteers. They help with social media and marketing. Of course, I mentioned the leading programs, talks, tours, demonstrations, and presentations, and so much more. So no matter what the situation or the rationale for these volunteers coming in to help us, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them. We are so grateful for your time, energy, creativity, and commitment to our organization. And of course, we look forward to working with all of you again in 2026. So a big thank you to all of our volunteers, past and present. And if anyone knows someone who would like to volunteer, please send them our way. We promise it's usually a lot of fun. We won't make you do bulk mailings on your first day. Zoya got to work here for like a month, I think, before we put her on a bulk mailing. And now it's her favorite thing, isn't it? We love it.
Yes.
Zoya has a lot of other talents, which I will talk about as I go through our volunteers one by one. So as I call your name, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about you. I'll try not to embarrass you too much. How many hours and what you've done for us so far this year. And if you don't mind coming up, I have a little something for you. I'm just gonna start just in order of hours. So Mary Gilbert has been with us for more than 10 years now as a volunteer. I couldn't even begin to list all of the things she does, but she is with us generally on Mondays and Fridays in the research room. She is handling most of those research requests I mentioned that come in person, via email, on the phone, through the website. She also helps to process incoming collections and to catalog things. She helps me pull materials for programs and exhibits. And she'll even step in and help with the mailing or anything else we need as we need it. So Mary has already put in approximately 362 hours with us this year. So if we can give a big round. The only room setup we found that can actually fit this many people, so we are always a little bit cramped. Okay, and next we have Beth Patrick. Beth started with us at the end of 2024, has been with us all year, and Beth is a bit sneaky. She doesn't have regular hours. She just comes sometimes unannounced, goes straight upstairs to the, we have a second room next to the research room where we have computers set up with the scanner for scanning our photographs. And in about 210 hours of time this year, Beth has scanned at least 3,000 or 4,000 of those 4,500 photographs, because Lynn Matot had actually started that process for us. So Beth is, she might be quiet, but she is such an efficient worker and so thorough and so detail oriented. Often, if she's not just going through her very organized checklist to go to the next box of photos in the archives, we may ask her to scan a quarterly to post on the website or to scan a book someone has requested for research. And she usually gets it done the same day, very quickly, so I can get back to that person. So we are very grateful to have Beth with us and hope that you continue to volunteer. Also walk to you guys, but I want you to parade in front of everyone. Thank you. Okay, and next on my list, yes, we have Zoya Kocha Williams. Zoya, believe it or not, is a high school student who has been with us for, let's been about a year now. It would also be impossible to list all of Zoya's skills and talents, but as you can tell from the outfit she is wearing, Zoya makes her own clothing. She is very knowledgeable about historic textiles and historic crafts. She sews all of the labels on our clothing whenever I need something processed from the collection. She also jumps in on those mailings that she loves so much. She has helped create scavenger hunts for school groups for us. She has helped write or edit text for exhibits, any number of online projects we need help with. She's helped Megan with various marketing projects, flyers, any kind of administrative tasks, writing tasks, collections tasks. She's also regularly dresses our mannequins upstairs. So she'll research and find outfits that are seasonally appropriate, write the labels for them, and then put the outfits on the mannequins, which may seem like an easy task, but a lot of these mannequins are actually handmade or hand altered because for those who don't have a lot of experience with historic textiles, you cannot just buy a standard size. They were all made to order, and in general, people were smaller than they are today, so the mannequins also have to be altered to fit those special clothes. So working with fragile old clothing to get them to fit more modern. Star Wars Vader. So thank you for that comic relief. So with all the many things Zoya has done for us this year, she has put in over 60 hours of time, and we are so grateful that she fits us into her very busy schedule all around the area, doing all kinds of very fun things that we are jealous of all the time. Thank you. Okay. Next on my list is Alexis Michael. Alexis works full-time in Ogdensburg and still finds time in the evenings or on Saturdays to come and help us with many different collections processing tasks. Her very keen eye really helps us to she's probably the best cataloger for detailed information, spends a very long time on each of the things we give her to make sure the measurements are accurate, all of the details are precise so that we don't have to go back into the records many years from now and update everything. She has learned a lot about historic lace and children's vests and shoes and all kinds of things, fun things that we find that need to be processed. And in addition to cataloging them, she helps photograph them, she helps rehouse them. She helps to assemble archival boxes when they come in, and just giant flat need to be put together. She's helped assemble walls for us. She's quite handy as well, and she's also happy to step in any number of other tasks that we ask, whether they're administrative or research for an exhibit. So Alexis has done just over 52 hours with us so far this year, and hope will continue to do so in 2026. Also recently appointed the historian for Oswegatchie. So if you have any Oswegatchie related history questions. Yeah, you'll have to. Okay. And then next on my list, a new volunteer who may have gotten roped into this a little bit because her daughter happens to be Caitlin. Jennifer Leah has helped us this year with outreach. So trying to do all of these festivals and events all around the county, as you can imagine, it's no easy task. There's lots of packing, there's lots of driving, and then we always keep at least 2 people at the table at any given time for staffing. Some events we even need 3 people. So we often have to call on volunteers and even family members who get roped into becoming volunteers to make sure we have the staffing needed to do this kind of programming. And Jennifer, I think, has been a willing participant. And her energy and positivity and just willingness to jump right in and help, talk to children, talk to the public, sometimes at very busy events, and even sell things to people. It's a lot to learn. It's a lot to memorize. So we really appreciate her jumping in. She also helped get all these financial reports ready and staple those for us today. So like most of our volunteers, they're willing to just jump in and do anything we ask. So Jennifer has done 21 hours with us so far this year. They really build up fast when you're out there working at those tables.
It's fun, I enjoy it.
Great. We are very glad you do. And last but not least on my volunteer list, and then I'm going to transition to my intern list. We have the lovely Vicki Oaks. So Vicki Oaks has also been a volunteer with this organization for many years, and due to everything going on in her life, we don't hold it against her. She has been working on a lot of personal things, has grandkids and creative projects of her own, and it's fine, we understand. But she's helping us still as she can from home. She is the mastermind behind developing a lot of the activities that we do at Outreach. So I'll text her and say, hey, I need a project for this event, and she'll send me like a dozen Pinterest links, sometimes at midnight, which is fine because my phone's on sleep. But I will look them over, say, yes, I like that one. And then she does all of the hard work preparing the templates, cutting tons of bat eyes and bat wings, literally for the Halloween program we just had. And she also helps us decorate for the holiday open house. So she will be coming in and using her masterful ribbon skills and greenery decorating skills to decorate the house and make it beautiful, Victorian Christmas styles. So Vicki, even though we think you've probably done more than this, but technically we counted 16 hours for you this year so far. We are very grateful that you still give us time on these projects. So thank you very much. Okay, and I have things for other volunteers who couldn't be here today. I will just say that they are all great. They do lots of things for us, but I don't want to keep you here forever telling you about all of them. But there are two more important people here today that I do want to tell you about. Our two fall interns. So first we have Olivia Rassley, who is with us from SUNY Canton. She is doing a 100-hour internship this semester. It is a marketing internship, so she is really focusing on learning all of the ins and outs of a small nonprofit, just generally how we operate, but also her very first project that we just threw her into was working on our silent auction. And so that was definitely a learning experience for all of us. We got almost twice as many items donated this year, about 90 items for the auctions. We are very grateful. That is still going on now. We have flyers, by the way, please bid. There's lots of cool stuff, information on the table. From local businesses and individuals who donated. But Olivia's very first task on day one was to update the list of donors for the auction and to try to post things online. And as she learned, this can be quite a complicated process. There is a lot to the kind of work that we do. It's a lot of learning pretty quickly. But Olivia has been very positive about it and has just jumped right in and been willing to learn all of these new tasks. Now she is working on thank you letters for all of the donors that will go out after the auction. She also did her first social media post for us on one of the Halloween postcards in our collection. So please see that on our Facebook or Instagram if you have not already. So she's also learning about research and how we research objects in the collection to share them with the public. Often there was not a lot of information that came with the objects themselves, so it does require quite a bit of digging online and in other places. So Olivia is a little more than halfway through her internship right now, will be with us through the rest of the semester. So she's done a little over 50 hours so far, and we'll be doing 100 by the end of her internship. And this is a paid internship. It's called the Presidential Internship through SUNY Canton. She's the fourth intern we've had in this program, so we are very grateful. Patrick Nicholson, who you saw was part of this program, along with Maldonado, was our first ever presidential intern, and then Wolfgang, who you also saw on the screen, was our presidential intern in the spring. So thank you so much, Olivia, for everything that you did. And last but certainly not least, we have Tatselo Mabuza. Did I say that right? Okay. Who is with us from St. Lawrence University. So Ticello is part of our what they call the CBL program, which is community-based learning. It's actually a course where the students gain experience, basically working with an organization in the community, and, she picked us. We are very lucky, to learn about all of the inner workings of museums and how they operate. So she is doing everything from also researching things in our collection and has found some pretty interesting items that she's learning about. She is also working on some social media posts for us currently. She has gotten a little primer in our Past Perfect database and has been looking up some items for us. She made a list the other day for a new donation that we received. So she's learning about how we make those kinds of lists, what we do when collections come in and how we process them. And in the meantime, I think it's also been getting a pretty good understanding of sort of the hectic chaos that goes along with a small museum environment. And is very interested in, learning a little bit more about the ins and outs of museums. She's very interested in pursuing social justice work. Later in her career, is only a freshman at the moment, so we are very grateful. Often volunteers and interns come to us as juniors or seniors, so she's very ambitious in getting a head start on her community outreach, which we are very grateful for. And she has done about 10 hours to date, and I think we'll be doing a little more than 20 by the end of her semester with us. So Stella, thank you so much. Okay, and that is all that I have. I'm gonna pass it over to Bill to maybe the most exciting part of the meeting, which is.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Before we do, just two pieces of housekeeping. Megan, the entire board is here today, so maybe we could get a picture of them after we're done.
Absolutely.
Okay, so board members don't leave till we get a picture together. And the other piece of information is lots of good food to eat. Please stay, enjoy yourself, spend a little time chatting and munching, please.
And
I-
tour the museum.
Yeah.
And the gift shop. Why not? And also go see the bricks, even though it's cold.
Yes,
As a member, more than as a board member, I would like to say that I am so happy and thankful that this organization is still alive and well. And by the number of people here at the annual meeting, we're doing okay. And this is in light of what I've read when we're in the depths of the COVID shutdown. I read a prognostication that 30% of the museums in the United States would be shuttered forever. And when we remember how hard it was for us, how dark and depressed we were, I am just so proud and thankful that here we are. And I would also like to thank Carlene and the office people who put a face on this organization. I admire their skills, their personal skills with the public. And it's just wonderful. Thank you.